Should my coping mechanism of buying books be addressed? Absolutely. Are we going to unpack that today? No. So if that's what you came for, may as well click off now. Hi guys, my name is Sel. I make videos whenever I feel like it, and today we are going to talk about books. Am I becoming a booktuber? Stay tuned. Subscribe to see it happen. Also, if you're into bookish content, I post some on my Sharissa by Sel page on Instagram, which is connected to my website, and I also post on my personal Instagram story, just like, you know, when you're mid-rant and you're like, okay, I really need to tell someone about how much I hate Alina and how she's letting the Darkling take over her life. If you want more content like that, then you should definitely follow me on Instagram. Now that the self-promo is out of the way, let's get into the actual topic at hand, which is the pile of books that I've managed to consume on the internet. You see, I'm not too much of an avid online shopper. I am actually really good at that. I don't trust online shopping. I feel like that's very boomer of me, but it's allowed me to not spend a lot of money online. However, for some reason with books, it's bad. I just kept adding things into the cart and not deleting things from the cart as I usually do with other things. And then I paid for it, and now it's here. So let's talk about them, huh? Let's talk about them. Okay. I also have a Goodreads, which I just started using. I'm not super familiar with the platform, but I think I'm probably going to make like a wrap-up video because, girl, if I am plunging into booktube, I'm gonna do it well, you know? So I'll probably do a review of every one of these books once I finish reading them, which can be the end of the year, I'm going to be honest. I've set up a goal for myself to read 30 non-academically assigned books by the end of the year. So let's look into them, shall we? First book that is also on my TBR is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Look, if this is not your first rodeo, most of these books are going to be well reviewed in the videos you've probably seen previously. However, if I'm your first introduction to people talking about books on YouTube, this is a big old one in the community, okay? Everybody loves this book. I know it's a new release. Everybody loves a good Gothic horror novel here on the tubes. And I just finished reading I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which is sort of like my first introduction. Is it my first introduction or maybe my first reintroduction to sort of like horror thriller genre? And I'm excited to read about a non-white family, finally. And I'm hoping there's like a bit of fantasy and a little bit of magic in it, just because I know a lot of indigenous cultures have that, and I'm really excited to connect that to my own culture. So yeah, that's really it. That's all. Next, going light, I have The Unhoneymooners. Also a booktube favorite I've discovered. I love the haters to lovers trope. I am a sucker for real good banter and then proceeding to get soft. Also, I'm not very familiar with adult romance. My romance experience stops at fan fiction on Tumblr, but there have been some really good grown-up fan fiction. As in, like, really good angst and really good character development and really good, like, getting into the psychology of things and, like, getting into actual characterization and not just like, oh, this is girl A, this is boy B. It's a straight story, which is, like, a minus in my book. But you know what? It's gonna be my first Christina Lauren book, and I'm excited to read stuff by them. And look, a tropical island getaway. Look, I'm a sucker for that, okay? Next, The Deep by River Solomon with Daveed Diggs, William Hudson, and Jonathan Snipes. This is about Africans. Oh, my dog wants to be a part of the party. Give me a second. All right, dog is here. Chewy, vlog, Chewy. Yes. Okay, so this is a little novella, I would say. It's very short, and it's about African slave women who were thrown overboard from the ships because they were pregnant, which is something that happened historically. Except now these women have given birth to their descendants who are mermaids, and they've created like a mermaid community, I guess, population underwater. And I think it's going to tackle issues of slavery and intergenerational trauma, and cause I'm really excited because it's like elements of magic and fantasy mixed in with political topics and human rights issues, and I'm very excited for that. Next, following the theme, we have Jacqueline Woodson's Red at the Bone, also like a huge bestseller. Everybody's reading this. I just bought this today with my cousin Mel at Walter Books in Arnhem. So if you're from the Netherlands, check them out. It's an art and politics, I would say, bookstore, and they've got really, really good resources that I want to invest in once I feel better about spending 30 euros on one book. Anyways, regardless, this book, I believe, is about two families from different social classes are joined together by an unexpected pregnancy and the child that it produces. I know that it goes back and forth between timelines. It goes through all of these topics that come with the trauma of being Black people in the US, I believe this is set. Okay, she's written about Brooklyn, so I'm going to assume. But this goes back generations. It talks about gentrification, identity, ambition, education, class, and status. And because it's a pregnancy, I'm also guessing probably gender. I really, 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 really enjoy discussing the intersection of race, gender, and class all together. So I'm hoping that this will be a good tackle at that. And I know that it will be because everybody loves it. So I'm excited to be here. Okay, I'm just happy to be here. And it's another shorter one. How many pages is it? It's barely 200 pages. So maybe this will actually be finished in one sitting. So there'll be another reading vlog. Okay, there will be a reading vlog. Okay, you know what? Let's stay on theme, huh? We have White Innocence by Gloria Wekker. Gloria Wekker is a professor at Utrecht University, or at least she was. I believe she's retired now. And I believe she is of Surinamese descent. She is a Dutch scholar, for those who aren't aware, and she writes a lot about race, colonialism, identity, gender, institutional racism, all those things. This is like sort of the Bible text for a lot of gender studies and decolonial studies in the Netherlands, because I think it's one of the first like popularized sources that specifically centers its arguments in the Dutch context, which, if you're not aware, the Netherlands has a cute little reputation of evading their racial issues by referring to usually the US and like saying like, oh, we're not as bad as them. But Professor Wekker, she specifically targets the Dutch audience, and I'm just really excited because issues close to my heart. And I'm also doing an arts and society master's right now, and a lot of my professors have talked about it, so I think that it'll go well with what I'm studying, and I can't wait to use like a personal read as an academic source. Okay, Chewy's chewing on my shirt. Is it the button? I might need you to stop, baby. And he's not going to do so. Okay. Let's go to a lighter book now. This is Get a Life, Chloe Brown. This is... I think it's also Haters to Lovers. Okay, I'm sorry. My dog is having a crisis. Chewy, you were chill just a few minutes ago. I need you to focus, babe. We're doing a video. Okay, so Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert, I believe is also a Haters to Lovers trope. Even if it's not, I'm just excited to read a, oh my god, let me think. I can't focus with Chewy gnawing on my shirt. I'm just excited to read a romance novel with a female lead that isn't white. This is just very exciting to me. I grew up reading a lot of white-centric stories, and it's been a confusing journey, like not seeing yourself represented. And I, of course, am not a Black woman, but just being able to see another person of color like be depicted in a more light and joyful genre like the romance genre is a wonderful time. It is a wonderful time, and I'm so excited that I get to, you know, still grow up with it. I'm only in my early 20s, so that means I'm still gonna be able to like enjoy the inpouring representation that we're finally gonna get. And it's also written by a Black woman, and that is just very exciting to finally get a new perspective that isn't the same redhead girl who has freckles, who's socially awkward and is a little bit alternative and not like other girls. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited to read about other people's stories that aren't white people. No offense, but full offense. Now I've got Three Women by Lisa Taddeo, and this is a book that I've already started reading. Whoa, my mind went way too fast for my mouth. I'm on page 102. This is a heavy book if you're willing to pick this up because I'm talking about it. Just be warned for, you know, trigger warnings, because this is a book that tackles the patriarchy. As a result of patriarchy, there are many disgusting symptoms such as sexual harassment, misogyny, slut-shaming, etc. And all of these are tackled in this novel. What do I love about it so far? It is written almost like it's in prose. To me, I feel like I'm reading very accessible poetry. It's not poetry, but it does feel that way. And it's just gorgeous. I feel like I've never had someone... Dude, chill, please. I feel like I've never had someone reach into my skull and then pull out my brain as well as this novel has. At least the part of my brain that's been raised as a woman. This is heartbreakingly resonating, you know? I don't know how else to explain it. It is a lot about desire, a lot about the shame that comes with it, a lot about the confidence and empowerment and disempowerment that comes with it, the oppression. I think that's the best way to explain it. It follows three different women, Lisa, Lena, Maggie, and Sloane, and they all come from different sort of like class backgrounds, but I believe they're mostly, at least from their stories, they seem to be profiled as mostly white women in the US, but a lot of their experiences still, I feel like I really deeply relate to them, or I really see I see reality in them, told from a woman's perspective, and that is heartbreaking and haunting, but delicious to feel seen in that way, especially since it tackles topics of desire. All right, I'm gonna give Chewie a chew toy. I'm gonna let him chew on Finn the Human real quick while we tackle other books. Okay, so one of the hardcovers that I've got, I wanted to stay on the topic of gender. I don't speak English anymore. This is Women Don't Owe You Pretty by Florence Given. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen this on my Insta story repeatedly, and as you can tell, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm on page 122 right now. Seems like there's a pattern of me stopping at the 100 mark. But she's a thick girl. She's a thick girl, and there's a lot of stuff to go through. It's a self-helpy book, and it is a wonderful, inclusive, intersectional self-helpy book, which is very rare, okay? It is very rare. I went through like the self-help book crisis a few months ago, like last year, I think. And the results of the stories I found are astoundingly white. And this is written by a white woman, but she is completely conscious of situating herself within her own context and always bringing to light where her identities lie and which identity she has less of an insight in, but also that we who may relate to her are overlooking. She includes a lot of talk about what these self-help advice would do for a person of color or a trans person, which she is not. So that is really cool to see the two worlds mixing together, which, you know, should just come naturally, but people for some reason think that just because your perspective is more commonly represented, it's natural and neutral, which is not the case at all. So I appreciate that part a lot. In addition, all of her self-help tips come from the context of a lot of feminist studies debates, so that is super fun. Love this book. Okay, another hardcover book is The Anxious Object, Art Today and Its Audience by Rosenberg. Let me figure out his first name. Harold Rosenberg. Okay, so this is an art book. I think it's art commentary and art theory, and I have an arts and culture background from my bachelor's, so I'm just excited to read something of that nature. But I did buy it in a secondhand art bookstore, and it was much cheaper than a nice, vintagey, frayed edges type of book like this should cost. Okay, he dropped his toy. Come here. There you go, kid. Yeah, there's a lot of like artworks in them, and the font is pretty big for a nice older book like this. I'm just really excited to read more theory, to be honest, and we'll see how it goes. I feel like I never really relate to non-contemporary art critique. I feel like they don't align with my values, so sometimes it feels frustrating to read something so outdated. So I wonder if this will be the case, but I'm hoping not, but we'll see. Next, let's do books that I've had for a while but haven't touched in a long time because I'm a procrastinator, shall we? So the first one is Hex by Thomas, or Thomas, because it's a Dutch author, Old Heuveldt. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I took an American literature course as one of my minors in, I'm gonna say second year of university, but it could have been third year. He graduated from Radboud as well, so he actually came to our class and did like a whole storytelling type of session, and then he held a Q&A, and he was nice enough to sign this book. And yeah, I just am really interested because it's a horror novel and it's blurbed by Stephen King, which is pretty cool if I do say so myself. And it's about, I believe, a town that is haunted by this ghost, except this town has sort of like lived with it because he was talking about how he wanted to situate it within the Dutch context and Dutch culture of people just sort of like going, okay, I guess this is our lives now. That's sort of like indifference, and this is set in the US, the English version. But yeah, so the whole town is sort of like used to this ghost haunting them, and they sort of coexist with this ghost, but then I think someone comes from outside and then like this jig is up or like something of the sort. But yeah, I'm terrified of ghosts. Scared poopless. I do not do well with ghostly horror, so I don't know what was going through my mind when I bought this book. Maybe his talk inspired me, maybe he is good at marketing, or maybe I was being a typical Leo with Gryffindor tendencies, and challenged myself and was like, dude, I dare you. I dare you. You could totally handle this book. I don't know if I can, because honestly, I had to turn this away from my bookcase because the ghost face here was freaking me out too much. But now that I've seen Haunting of Hill House, I feel better equipped to tackle ghostly spirits and hauntings. So we shall see. We shall see. Okay, dokes, next is a book that I did not buy. I was lent this book, but this copy is my mother's. This is China Rich Girlfriend by Kevin Kwan, and it's a sequel to Crazy Rich Asians. And Mel, my cousin, Melchior, he lent me this book maybe a year and a half ago, and I still haven't read it. I did not have the right to purchase 6 more books after I haven't finished these. Okay, look, I'm sorry. Okay, Mel, I know. But I know that I need to finish this because I can't keep going on. I can't keep living my life like this, you know? So I'm going to tackle this big boy. I don't know why. There's just something about it that kind of like makes me want to shut down my brain. I know I'm going to enjoy the story. I enjoyed reading Crazy Rich Asians. I loved the movie. I don't know what's hindering me. Maybe I'm just like getting premature anxiety. There was a lot of, I have to be honest, triggering things that came up with the first novel. Being raised in Jakarta, a lot of these things I recognized, so maybe I'm just scared that I'm gonna recognize all the bad things in this book as well. But look, I'm excited to read it, and I will, okay? I can't keep neglecting this little baby. All right, next up on the reading list, I'm going to show you what's on my iPad because I read a few iBooks. And yeah, these are the books that I feel like I don't need to purchase because I'm gonna plummet through them anyway, and I don't feel like spending 12 euros on a physical copy when I know I'm gonna finish it in 2 days. Okay. The first and foremost is Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. I have already started, if you can't tell from my bulging eyes. I'm on page 218, so I am almost halfway through. Okay, I'm probably gonna do the full review and a wrap up, but this might be the first book in the Grisha trilogy that I'm willing to give more than 2.5 stars. It's juicy. It is juicy. It is thick with juice. The juice is thick. I feel like every chapter there is something going on. I have shed tears, I have laughed, I have felt rage, and I have wanted to give a standing ovation, which is wild because I really did not enjoy the first 2 books. I really didn't enjoy Shadow and Bone, and Siege and Storm didn't get exciting until like the last 3 chapters. I'm excited to finish this one, but I know it's going to be a heartbreaking one, so expect a tearful wrap up. Okay, the next book that I downloaded is The Sea of Monsters, which is the second book in the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. It's just a fun read. It's a fast read. I read the first one as a physical copy because my sister had it. Yeah, it intrigued me enough, you know? I'm having a great time. Ow! Chewy! I also downloaded Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston, and that's another huge booktube favorite. And like, look, I have a Sag rising. You know what that means? I love high fantasy, and I love monarchies, and I love politics, especially when all those things are combined in fake. But this doesn't have fantasy, but it does have monarchies and politics and a non-hetero love story. So I'm excited. I feel like it's going to be a star-crossed lover type of thing. And I'm excited because the last fake royal type of thing that I read was American Royals, and that was a big disappointment. I didn't enjoy it, so I'm hoping this will fill in the gaps of what I was missing from American Royals. Okay, something else that I would really want to read before the end of the year is Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng, and I believe this is a suburban family drama thriller type thing. I'm excited. I know this was adapted into a show. I haven't seen that yet. And I know this has been compared to a lot of thriller books that I've liked. And yeah, I love a good suburban story. Love a good middle class reflection time, you know? And lastly, on this list of ebooks, I also downloaded A Song of Wraths and Ruin by, let me quickly see, Roseanne A. Brown. This just had such a beautiful cover that I'm completely enticed. I am just super excited to read a fantasy that is again non-white because I grew up on stuff like The Mortal Instruments. And Cassandra Clare had like what? 1 person of color in that whole series? 2? So I'm excited. I'm excited to read this. I don't know much about it at all. I just know that a lot of people enjoyed it, and it's fantasy, so why the heck not, you know? Like, fun fact, if you haven't been around since the beginning. My first ever video that I posted on this YouTube channel was a book review type thing where I reviewed like my like my favorite books at the time, and I was so nervous and awkward and I felt like nobody was gonna care about my opinions. And then I found BookTube, and it has given me so much confidence to just talk about like stuff that I'm passionate about, because I used to see my like YA reading tendencies as something that was like nerdy and no one was gonna get, and now it's super popular, and it's just so fun to see a community of people talk about things they love and read so many books. So I'm excited to enter that world, and yeah, I hope to make more bookish content in the future. That'll be super fun. So without further ado, let's end this, okay? You've been here a while, I've been here a while, and I gotta edit this. Okay, and Chewy is going a little nuts. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to comment which books are on your TBR list. That'll be super duper fun. Not that I need any more book recommendations, but you know what? I have a growing list of things that I should download / buy. So I'll put it in the pile. It'll be fine. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Oh, Chewy, say bye. Bye! Oh, now he's calm. He just wanted to be held the entire time. Sir!